back down the shed once again. The bike ran so good in last week's episode. I was very happy how that went, and it was great to hear it running nicely and not coughing and spluttering, chuffing all that smoke out. It was awesome. Thanks for everyone that left a comment. That was cool, very encouraging. Right, this week we're going to try and get it ready to put up on the dyno. I wrote a bit of a list of what we need to do, which is this guy here. So if we can tick a few of those guys off, we'll be pretty much ready to strap it down and try and make it run all nicely through the gears and make some power. So first off, I need to rip that tank back off, neaten up all the wiring underneath, and make sure that the feed pipe has clearance, and get the fuel tank out to Sean at Adrenaline Performance and get him to plug that big hole that I chopped in the bottom of it up. So let's get into it. So when I sit the fuel tank on, I'm pretty happy with the clearance between the tank and this feed pipe, but the tank doesn't sit down correctly. It seems to be sitting up on something. I'm not sure whether it's something small like this little lug or the wiring over here, but that's what we need to address before we can move on to fitting the fuel lines. So what we'll do is try and neaten all this up, compress it down a little bit. I think I've got to get the actual height of all this wiring and this fuel line lower than these frame rails. So let's see what we can do there. We'll have a bit of a straighten out now. I've had the tank fitting perfectly before, but for some reason it's hitting the plenum chamber. I can only imagine that it's not fully seated on these clamps here. They're all back just a few millimeters. So I think I'm going to need to back all the clamps off and try and sink it down that couple of millimeters and get my clearance back, because it's just fouling on the top of this to the underside of the fuel tank. I used a ratchet strap to pull the plenum chamber downwards and into the throttle bodies. Hopefully it's made enough difference that I got the clearance back. Let's put the tank on and have a look. The tank fits down. I reckon I just got away with it sitting down correctly on this bracket, but there's not a lot to spare, so that's pretty lucky. So I've done some spring cleaning underneath the fuel tank. All the hoses are secure, they're not going to move around or rub. The wiring's tucked away up the front. It all looks pretty good. Now we can look at getting that fuel tank out to Sean at Adrenaline to plug the hole. Okay, moving on to the battery and the blow-off valve. So the blow-off valve is meant to click on here, but since I've put that ZX10 suspension in, the battery box has moved up a bit, everything's slightly changed, and it doesn't fit exactly where it was before. So the blow-off valve hits straight into the battery. I thought I could get away with it with a lower battery, but it seems that it's not going to fix the problem. So what I'm going to try and do now is to remotely mount the blow-off valve so that I can try and get this thing up on the dyno. Looking at it for a little bit longer, I think I definitely don't want to pull the plenum chamber off and remove that spigot. I want to keep pushing forward. I'm going to chase up some 1-inch silicone hose, like the blue stuff here, and see what options that gives me to mount the blow-off valve a bit lower or push it forward and up into this recess behind the battery. So I'll get the Aeroflow book out, see what they offer in the 1-inch hose, and see what we can do. It also looks as if the fuel tank pushes on this fuel line here. So I'm going to take this guy off and try and bring it out to the side a bit further. There's a really flat part of the fuel tank just here, this part just here, and that's where it wants to hit by the look of it. So I'll see if I can push it into this recess of the fuel tank and try and help that tank sitting down issue. It's pretty good, but I want to make it the best it can be. So the trusty old remote fuel tank's been removed because I need to steal a bit of my hose to fix that regulator to fuel rail line. I've removed the hose. Now I just need to try and swing this fitting out this way, lengthen the hose, and hopefully that just gives me enough clearance under the fuel tank. So that small S-bend in the hose is going to stop it getting kinked under the tank. If it does get squashed, it could change the fuel pressure or do some odd stuff when we try to tune it. Yeah, still playing with this blow-off valve, how to sort him out. Basically, I can't fit it between the battery or even the battery case. That little spigot on the airbox is just a bit too low. So I went back to our shop. We had some 25mm radiator hose. I wasn't going to use the hose. I just need to be able to visualize if I bought a length of silicone pipe, if it would do the trick. But still, when I fit it all up, when I push that on there properly, it's still a yuck looking thing. I can't swing it round on top of the battery. I can't fit it through this gap to mount the blow-off valve in here anywhere. So I've had a bit of a look and I can see that there's some 25mm silicone hose that's in a 90 or even tighter than a 90. I'm going to order one of those and see if that solves my problems, whether I can poke the blow-off valve straight down like it is now, or even because this battery's a bit skinnier, I might be able to remove this piece and swing it through here. That's the next plan, I think, to order some silicone hose. Okay, that's all done. I might even change the oil again before it hits the dyno, so we won't be doing that, but I'll check the oil level. I'll check the coolant level. So I'll remove this display thing here so I can get to the filler cap, and then I'll mount this somewhere that we can see it when it's on the dyno. So I'll rip that off now and we'll check out the coolant. Coolant's good. There's enough in the expansion bottle to do what we need to do, and I can't see any leaks, so that's a bonus as well. Okay, back to this fella here. Let's drop the oil out. At least we know the bike's been running. It's had a bit of a flush out. I'll leave the oil filter on it because that's buried, tucked away under here. But let's drop that oil out and let it drain while we go back to the shop. I can only find a small container, so hopefully I don't spill it everywhere. Yeah, it's pretty black. I can't remember if I drained it before or just lost a bit when the cover was off. Definitely glad that I dropped it, but yeah, that's black as. Definitely didn't drop that before. So we'll just let that drain while we go back to the shop, and that'll get it all out.